What's going on, YouTube? This is lesson 2 in an installment of just open acoustic guitar worship chords you can play for praise and worship to get that good, nice, open, ringy sound with your acoustic guitar. Just a couple of things to preface this. If you haven't seen the last lesson, go check it out. I am using I'm referencing the number system a lot. And so you can use the context clues to try and pick that out. Whenever I reference it, I'll try to say what the chord is in that key. And my guitar is tuned down a half step. So instead of E, A, D, G, B, E, it's E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. So we were in the key of E last time. We're going to jump to the key of D this time. That's another good key to play in. Again, that's a C sharp chord, but I'm going to call it a D chord because if you guys are playing in standard tuning, it would be a D major chord. So the one chord in D is obviously D major. Excuse me. And so a couple of the things that I do off of the D is that hammer on and pull off on the E string, the 2nd fret. That's a sus2 chord when your middle finger is not down. That's a D major. That's a very standard chord. And when you hammer your pinky down on the 3rd fret of the E string, you get a D sus4 sound. So in between that, I just kind of mess with that chord. Another thing that I do off of the D, especially when I'm like walking up, it's like if I'll play this. F sharp is the 3rd in the key of D, so it would be the 3. So what I'm playing is a 1 chord with a 3 bass, and if you don't understand that, you will later. All you have to know is that you use that. It walks really good up to this 4 chord, which is G in the key of D. So that's a good chord to use. A couple of other voicings that I use off of the D root is this. I take a C major chord, a very standard cowboy C chord, and I move it up a whole step. This is a funny chord to use. It's not often that I use it in a band setting. I use it when I'm introing or if I'm just kind of talking while I'm leading praise and worship in the key of D. Sometimes I'll come to that chord because it's got some very interesting color. This is a 6/9 chord. It's a D6/9 chord, and as you can hear, it sounds really good. It's really lush, but it's got a funny sound to it, and it can clash. It can easily clash with other people that are playing in the band if this is not in the music, and you just kind of whip this chord out. So use this one sparingly, but it's really good. It's a really good sound. So another good one is the 4 chord. I use that in a lot of praise and worship songs. Like I said, in the key of D, the 4 is a G major chord. And what I play for a G major chord is this. This is a G power chord, and by power chord, again, I mean just a root and a 5th, but it's just a bunch of doubled notes. And what you get is that kind of powerful, just kind of all notes ringing. It's really just the meat and potatoes of the chord. It's a really good sound to use. And what you can do with this G chord is on the 2nd fret on the A string, you have your 3rd. Right under that on the D string, you have your 6th. And then under that on the 2nd fret, you have your 9th on the G string. And what I do is I just hammer on and pull off on those 3 notes while I'm strumming the chord, and it sounds great. Another good thing that you can use in a band setting, this can be a little bit of a stretch, but is that this is a G major 7, but it doesn't have a third in it. So it's not as weighty as a normal G major 7, but that's got some very interesting color to it. And so that's a really good sound to use, especially in the key of D. It's a really good sound, very interesting, adds a lot of color and a decent amount of variety to your chords. The 5 chord, what I'm doing is my pinky and my ring finger. My ring finger is on the 2nd fret on the D string, and my pinky is right under that on the G string, and I'm playing that on the 2nd fret with the A string open. I have my thumb muting the E string, and you strum that, you get that A sus2 chord. That's really good in the key of D. I use it in the key of E. It's the 4 in the key of E, and the key of D, it's a 5 chord. And that pulls really well to that D chord, sorry. So that's a really good sound, and the same stuff you do with that D chord, you can do it on the A chord. It's a little more involved. Not much though. Got your. I do it with my index and my ring finger. If I'm gonna do those moves, I normally switch up the fingering that I'm using. But you put your ring finger down the B string on the 2nd fret, which is your 3rd. That's the major 3rd. And then you lay your pinky down on the 3rd fret. That's your 4th. That turns it into a sus4 chord. So you got A sus4, A major, A sus2. Really good sounds. One of the last chords that I use in the key of D is this. This is a 6 chord. I played it off of C sharp in the last lesson, and I play it the exact same way. I use my index finger to mute. I use my index finger to play the root, which is on the 7th fret on the E string. I take the meat of my middle finger to mute the A string, and then right under that, with my ring finger and my pinky, I'm playing the 7th fret on the D and G strings, letting the bottom 2 strings ring out, and you get a lovely, nice B minor 11 sound. That's a really good 6 chord to use. That is really lush. And that moves really well to my next chord, another 5 chord. I use that a lot. I use that move a lot, especially after I'm done playing a song in the key of D, and I'm just kind of edifying, or I'm just kind of talking to the church, or I'm praying. I use this move, and then go down to that 4, come back up. So this 5 chord right here, what it really is, it's a broken down version of a chord that I taught in the last lesson, of that, which is an E major bar chord that I move up to the 5th position, let the 2 bottom notes ring out. Really lush sounding, really lush. It's a A add 9 chord, A major add 9. Like I said, that moves really well to this G chord. Trying to think, that's about it in the key of D. If I remember anything else, I'll just put another lesson up. But yeah, you guys be blessed. Remember, always glorify God with your music, because only what you do for the kingdom of God will last. So you guys be blessed.